and welcome to episode 47, Flosstube number 16 of All the Stitches. My name is Colleen and I'm coming to you from the Snowy Lakes region of New Hampshire in the United States. Today is January 29th. You may not be seeing this for another week or so when I'm able to upload it. For today's episode, I have some cross-stitch works in progress, some new starts, and some upcoming plans for the next couple months of stitching. At the end, I'm going to do a tutorial, which I haven't done before, so please bear with me. I do have a little setup, so my camera should be angled downwards towards my work table. What I'm going to be doing is a lacing and framing tutorial. Now, having said that, I am not a professional framer, but I have, I'm playing one on YouTube because I have watched all the framing videos on YouTube, and I've gathered up a lot of information and sort of have my own way to do it using all these bits and pieces of information. First, I'm going to show you the progress I have made on my current projects. This one is, I've shown before, Santa Stops Here. This is a Brenda Gervais pattern, and you can see I have done a lot of work on it since last you saw it. I am nearly done. I have to finish out the white, the snow, in 2 more trees, and there's 2 little reindeer up here, and there's a lot of snowflakes sprinkled in here and there. But this has become, oh, and the wreath needs some beads, some beading up there, so I'll do that at the very end. This has become my obsession. I had all plans to put this down, work on it either as a weekend stitch come January or a 25th of the month stitch, and frankly, I just haven't been able to put it down. I just need to get this done. And I've definitely discovered I'm kind of a monogamous stitcher. As I've said before, you'll never see 30, 40, 50 projects on this channel because I need to just finish things. Now that's something new for me. I haven't always felt that way. I'm hoping to get this done this week. And that is, oh, this is the one that you can see the staining. This is the one I told you last time I used that Best Press to press this, and it's stained. I won't be doing that again. Now, I pressed this for this video, and I really just used a dry iron, and I sprayed a little bit of just water on lightly around the edges, and it does not press very well. And I'm wondering if anybody out there, if you have any good suggestions for pressing linen, because I am a little bit concerned when I try to really flatten this out for framing, how to get some of those wrinkles out. I made a few little changes on this, different from the pattern, but nothing, no big deal, really. I changed the door, that kind of thing. But maybe the next time you see this, it will be done. My next project is, these have really been, the Santa has really been my focus piece. And then on the side, I've been working on this one. So not as much as I thought I would. Winter Sampler from Crocette GoGo. Here is as far as I have gotten. That border has just taken forever. It's beautiful, but it's taking me forever. I just started on the trees last night, and didn't I put the first tree in the wrong location? Of course I did. So that had to come out. So that slowed me down. This is on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha with all the called for colors. The Santa Stops Here is on 28 count Winter Brew. So those are my works in progress, except I have 2 new starts. My first new start is the Flying Geese Temperature Cross Stitch by Stitched Modern. Now you probably all know what a temperature cross stitch is. You stitch a symbol, in this case it's the flying geese, which I love as a quilting pattern. That's why this really attracted me. So you stitch one little symbol for each day of the year using the average daily temperature that day. I have been keeping up. And here is what I have so far. You can see how tiny each little symbol is, only 9 stitches. And then you just have the letter of the first of each month, and then you stitch all the flying geese, and then you turn around. I like this. You turn around the other way and go back and on the next line. And then when I come to February, I'll put in an F and then continue along and so forth. So it's so simple. It really just takes me a few minutes a day. I'm sure it's really hard to see the colors, but they're absolutely gorgeous. And if you're not familiar with it, what they do is every 5 degrees has a different color assigned to it. So, and then they give you a chart showing the temperatures and the DMC color that goes with it. These, I just wrapped up the coldest ones, but aren't they beautiful? It's really a nice color combination. There are warm weather flosses that I have not bobbinated yet, because based on the looks of things, I won't need that for quite a while. But this is fun. This is a lot. I'm actually enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. Here are some of the warm weather colors. So I think it's going to be a real pretty piece. On the bottom, when you get done, you use straight stitching to just put in your town, the name of your town, and the year. Okay, so here is my other new start. I've shown this on this channel before, but this is in, I think this was the first project bag I ever made. And it was from a paper piece block that I made, and I decided not to do anymore. And there's the front. So this pattern is from Stoney Creek, and it's All Is Bright. I just think that's gorgeous. 2 colors, so there's just a white and a sort of a light grayish blue. And I got a start, but it's kind of a pathetic start. I just needed to start this because I was dying to see what the fabric was going to be like working on this fabric. Let me put it on my board here. And there's my little start. Oh, believe me, I know that's not much, but I like the white. I was afraid maybe it wouldn't stand out, excuse my wrinkles, but it does stand out really well. This fabric this is 28 count Crystal Dwarf Lugana. And it has that nice sparkle, which is a little bit hard to see because you've got sort of that added sparkle that, I don't know, obscures the holes a little bit. And it's a nicely dyed piece of fabric, so any dyed fabric is going to shrink it up a little bit. So it probably reads smaller than a 28 count. I am really excited to really get going on that because it's I think it's going to be so pretty. And I think once I finish Santa Stops Here, that I'm going to focus on that. It'll be an easy one to just transition and still focus on the winter sampler as well. But I have some other stitchy plans. One of them is in this snowman bag that I made last year, I think. I talked about this one in my winter pattern parade last time. I really want to start winter from the Cricut collection. So I've picked my fabric. It is 28 count ice blue Lugana. That probably looks very white to you, but it's not. It is an icy blue. It's probably a little more pale than I had hoped, but beggars can't be choosers up here. There's no store for me to go to that has any kind of cross-stitch supplies. We do have a big box, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, maybe an hour away, but you know, they don't have linen as far as I know. But just like all these Cricut collection patterns, there's so much thread. There's so many flosses in this one tiny piece. So it's not tiny, but. So this is something I'm dying to start. Who knows, maybe I'll have a start everything February or something. I might do something like I've done with the All Is Bright. Sometimes you just need to put a few stitches in to see it. And then you can sort of put it aside and work on it later. I might do that with the winter, and I might do that with this one as well. These are just my stitchy plans for the rest of the winter. So in this bag, and I can never find the name on this bag. I think the label fell off. But this is another favorite of mine. It's Baby It's Cold Outside from Heartstring Samplery. And for this I could not find the called for fabric. So I have something similar, close enough. It's 28 count wheat Lugana. And I think those whites, there's a lot of white and sort of sand color, and I think those are going to stand out nicely on that fabric. So that's something else I'll probably put a few stitches in and get moving on that. Before I set up for the framing tutorial, it's lacing and framing tutorial. I just want to talk just basically about framing. So first I told you that I watched a lot of videos, and I have. And I can recommend anything from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. If she does a tutorial, it is worth watching. And she's done some framing. She uses pinning a lot, so instead of lacing, I know she does lacing too, but I've seen a lot of tutorials on pinning from her, and I think, you know, I like it just fine. What I don't like about it compared to lacing is once those pins are in, you have no wiggle room. If you need to move it 1/8 of an inch or something to one side, you have to remove all the pins. And I found that really time consuming for me. So I like this method of lacing better. But she always has good tips about how to do anything, so it's worth watching. Vonna Shepherd is another one that, of course, all of her tutorials are great. And again, there are so many. Just search on YouTube for lacing or framing, cross stitch. You'll find them. But you know what? I found the one that really clicked in for me was a series of videos from a guy. His channel is his name, and it's John Turner. Turner. And there's, I think, about 4 videos that he shows. They're short videos, and he shows some simple framing techniques and lacing techniques. And when I watched that, boom, I got it, and I was able to do it. So I sort of combined a lot of people's ideas and put them all into my own method. So what I'm going to show you today is lacing, not pinning, And I'm going to talk briefly about the frame that I got before I go and change my camera angle. The frame I got from Signed and Numbered on Etsy. It's a little bit of a worn, looking frame, which I wanted this time. What I love about Signed and Numbered, and I've raved about them before, is you can get custom sizes, you can get ready-made sizes. They put these tabs in that hold in the backing of your piece. They put the hangers on. It comes with glass if you want glass, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. It comes with a cut piece of mat board or foam core board, and you tell them what you want. Everything is acid free, and it comes with a backing board just to make the back of the piece look pretty. Now, sometimes I don't use this because if my piece is very thick and the frame isn't very thick, then this might be too big. But then you can just cut a piece of craft paper or maybe scrapbook paper and paste it onto or glue it onto the back of the frame. So you don't always need to use this. I just think it's handy to have. Let me tell you a couple little things about frames that I learned. When you look at Signed and Numbered or any other frame company, if you're shopping online, there's another one called Custom Frame Solutions, and I really like them a lot as well. You have so many options on that website that it's almost overwhelming. It is overwhelming, and you also kind of have to know what you're looking at. So I think the most important thing for a frame, look at the width of the frame, because if you have a small piece, you don't want a wide frame, right? The other important measurement is to know what this depth is. So here's the front of the frame, right? Here's the back, and then there's this space. So within that space, it's called the rabbet, and within that space, you have to be able to fit your piece of needlework, the backing, and maybe a piece of glass if you're using glass. I'm going to just segue a little bit to glass, and that is, I'm not going to cover it because I'm not using it today. I like glass. I mean, let's face it, it's a good idea to use glass on needlework because houses are dusty. There's odors in the house, cooking odors, maybe pet odors, maybe if someone in the house smokes, or a fireplace or a wood stove. The glass protects the needlework. Having said that, I don't often use it. I will use it on something that I consider almost an heirloom. I mean, something that you've worked on for a couple of years or even a year. It might be worthwhile spending the money for glass. What I'm doing today is a Christmas piece, and to me, my Christmas stuff is up for maybe a month, and I don't think it's necessary unless it was really an heirloom quality, and that's just me. But if you use glass, remember that depth, that rabbet depth is really important, because I have bought frames that I've used glass, and I have the glass, I have the needlework, and then the backing. Well, by the time I get to the backing, I've run out of the rabbet space, so I don't use the backing. And then that means these little brads have to be pushed onto the back of your linen, which isn't always a good idea because they do rust over time. And I have some old ones that have rusted onto the linen. The other thing to think about with glass is, if you're going to use glass, I would just say, get the best quality glass that you can afford to get. If you can afford to get museum glass, it is well worth it. Same with, there's a type of glass that's sort of a step down from museum. It's not as expensive, but it's still more pricey than just, you know, regular frame glass. Framers have it. I don't know what the big box Hobby Lobby and Michael's have. I haven't done framing there, but get the best quality that you can get, because if you don't, and I have these issues here in this house because I have a lot of windows, the lights or window daylight and lamps from your room will just reflect off the glass. So you look at your pictures and all you see is a reflection of the windows in the room. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you use glass, always, or I should say never, never, ever have your needlework pressed against the inside of the glass, because that creates moisture that can't escape. And it's a good way to rot out your needlework eventually over time. And plus, you don't really want a needlework under glass that looks like it's squashed, right? There are different ways to do that, and I've seen framers put little wedges within the corners of the frame, even out of cardboard or some sort of material. There's also little acrylic strips that you can buy, though I have to say they're not easy to find, but I found them on Amazon, and they're spacers, I believe they call them. And you can cut them to size just with a pair of household scissors and run a strip down here and around, all around the inside. And they're 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, and you can, I find the 1/8 of an inch works good. But like I say, they're hard to find. And I think I had to buy a box of them, and there were 5-foot lengths. I mean, ridiculous. I'll never run out, by the way. But that's all I'm going to say about glass now. So the material you need to lace your needlework, in this case, is a rather thin piece of foam core board. You can also use a mat board. What I'd like to do, and this is completely optional, I put a piece of very thin batting. So it is Quilter's Dream cotton batting. See how thin that is? I like the look of just a slight, I don't even want to say a puff, but you know what I'm saying. The surface of the linen will be slightly puffed out. It's not going to be flat against the surface of the backing. And all I do, you can put more glue on it than I do. I don't think it's necessary. I put dots of glue on the backing, just in the corners, and I lay the batting on and I let it dry. Now I don't put the linen on while the glue is still wet, because it might come through. And now I'm going to set up my phone to record on my work table. This is Colleen from the future. I'm jumping in here right now to just let you know that there's been a little change in plans. I've recorded the entire video and the tutorial on the lacing and framing, but it's too long and my internet in this area will not upload it to YouTube. So I'm splitting this video into 2 parts. So this is the end of part 1, with just that little bit of framing tease at the end. And then please look for part 2, which is going to cover the lacing and the framing. Probably in another week or so. I'm not going to be able to upload them at the same time. So please be sure you're subscribed, and be sure that you have hit that bell so that you can be notified when that next video drops. Sorry about the last minute change, but that's life in rural America. So until next time, I hope all of your stitches bring joy.